ஜெய ஜெய ஈசன் குந்தன் மகனை போற்றி ஜெய ஜெய முன்வினை கருமம் முடிப்பாய் போற்றி ஜெய ஜெய ஓம் நம சக்தி புகுந்தாய் போற்றி ஜெய ஜெய ஸ்ரீ மகாகணபதி ஆனந்த அருள் நிதி பாய்மாம் துண்டாய வல்லப கணபதி பாய்மா மகாகணபதி ஆனந்த அருள் நிதி பாய்மா துண்டாய வல்லப கணபதி பாய்மா
To welcome is to show honor. To welcome is to establish integrity. Now I invite our beloved head of the department, Mrs. Yasmin, to deliver the welcome address.
Good evening to one and all. It's indeed a pleasure to welcome you, all of you, to this one-week national level online faculty development program entitled Teaching Literature in the Digital Era. At present, teachers are in a situation to look for innovative ways of integrating technology with the teaching pedagogy. They have to use technologies like virtual reality, 3D printing, and cloud computing to lay the groundwork for creating enhanced learning environments for the students that are engaging and effective. Teachers are required to be open-minded, critical independent professionals, active cooperators, collaborators, and mediators between learners and what they need to learn, and provide us to scaffold understanding. This FDP aims to provide an insight into the teaching learning process of literature in this digital era. With this introductory note, I would like to welcome our beloved correspondent, Sir Thuru K. Palanisamy Avargal, who is the constant support and encouragement in all our endeavors. With great gratitude, I would like to welcome our today's chief guest, Dr. P. Malati, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of English, Government Arts College, Coimbatore, who consented to inaugurate this faculty development program through the speech entitled Digitizing Literature Classes for Digital Natives, which is a very good start indeed. And with glistening glad, I would like to welcome all the participants from in and around India. Dear participants, I ensure you that at the end of this 1 week FDP, you will definitely enlighten with the teaching learning process in this digital world. Once again, I welcome you all for this FDP program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. It gives me immense pleasure to invite our correspondent, Thuru K. Palanisamy Avargal, the man behind all the successful saga of this institution, for the presidential address.
Good evening.
Over to you, sir.
Good evening, all the participants, all the heads, all the team leaders from various parts of India for this program conducted by our Kongu Arts and Science College, Kanjanapuram, Erode. I thank our principal sir, Mr. Raman, for giving a big support for English department for giving this program. I thank Yasmin ma'am and Sugmari ma'am for conducting this program, and all the department staff faculties for this today's program. The English department of Kongu Arts and Science College is conducting this 1-week national online faculty development program in teaching literature in the digital era, which will benefit all the participants from various parts of this country and making a grand success. I invite today's chief guest from Government Arts and Science College, Coimbatore, Assistant Professor, PG and Research, Dr. P. Malathi ma'am, for our Kongu Arts and Science College for giving this program. In this evening session, I am very proud to say that Kongu Arts and Science College have already ranked in the overall history of various departments in the last year. I hope this year we will succeed 1 or 2 more achievements in various departments also. For this program, which is conducting by the Department of English, may benefit to all the beneficiaries and participants. I once again welcome all the heads, teaching faculties, doctorates, students, and all. I welcome all the members for this program, for this 1-week program, on behalf of our Kongu Arts and Science College, for getting them self-benefited. Thanks a lot. Thank you, ma'am.
Now, without further ado, we will turn the time over to our resource person. I am profusely overjoyed to take the opportunity to introduce our resource person of this flabbergasted, beautiful evening. She is Dr. Malathi, Assistant Professor, PG and Research Department of English, Government Arts College, Coimbatore. Her areas of specializations are English language teaching through information and communication technology, and creative writing. She has published 5 poems and a short story. She obtained her PhD from Bharatiyar University, Coimbatore. She has 21 years of collegiate teaching experience in the Department of English in various reputed institutions. She has guided 4 MPhil scholars and 1 PhD scholar. She is now guiding 1 MPhil scholar and 7 PhD scholars. She also served as editorial board member in 2 international journals. She has published 8 books. She also served as resource person for more than 12 webinars. She was awarded Tamil Nadu Government Endowment Prize for Subject Proficiency. We are very grateful to Dr. Malathi for accepting our invitation and marking her presence here. I now invite her to enlighten the esteemed participants with her precious words on digitizing literature classes for digital natives. Dear participants, just a reminder, if you have any questions during the presentation, please post them in the chat box. I will bring them up after the presentation. Welcome, ma'am. Over to you, ma'am.
Good evening, everybody. I'm happy to be a part of this program, being the first day inauguration program I've been called, and happy and grateful to the person who has called me for doing my webinar session here with you all today. With a note of that gratitude to, I would like to acknowledge the person, Yasmin ma'am, as well as I would like to acknowledge the person who has introduced me. It was, of course, a very big introduction. I think I would like to do justice to the introduction. In fact, I seek the blessings of God before I get started with. Now let me share my PPT. When my PPT is visible, kindly somebody acknowledge it so that I will understand that my PPT is visible and I will keep going ahead. I'm sharing my screen now. Hope my PPT is visible to you all.
Yes, ma'am, it's visible.
Okay, great. So I keep going ahead. Today, the topic on which I thought of talking with you all today is digitizing literature classes for digital natives. When we speak about digitizing literature classes for digital natives, I would like to focus on the coinage digital natives. This is the coinage of Mark Prensky. Mark Prensky is the first person to coin this word. I will show you the essay from where I have taken this particular coinage phrase, digital natives, to you all. Before which, let us go through the glimpses of today's webinar. We are going to see all these in a nutshell. I will try to make it very precise as we are running short of time. I think I have to conclude by 6 o'clock. Am I right, Yasmin ma'am?
We'll complete it by 6:15.
Okay, if you ask me to stop, I will stop. Okay, so that's an understanding between us. Well, let us. I thought of narrating on all these things, all these items that you see on screen now. One is digitizing for digital natives, and point number 2 is classroom requisites and e-gadgets needed for digital natives. Then digital resources for English literature classes. What are the digital resources we need to teach and the students need to learn, especially in literature classes? And e-books and e-repositories from where we can download literature books, and audiovisual lectures on literature from where we can authenticate audiovisual materials. Then what are the social networks and what kind of a service we can take from social networks, especially in literature classes. And media literature. Today we see many books in the form of movies. Say, for example, Diva Gruni's Mistress of Spices is a form of a movie, and we speak about Oliver Twist, and we speak about Shakespearean drama in the form of movies. We speak about Life of Pi in the form of movies. So there are so many books in the form of movies. So from where we can take those movies and what are the reliable sources from where we can download those movies and use it for our classes. All those things we'll see there. And summation, entire webinar has to be summarized and consolidated precisely before I conclude. No? So you will have a summation session, after which you can, the floor will be open for interaction and you can pose your questions. Now let us go to Mark Prensky, before which I would like to stop sharing this screen and I would like to show you another screen. 1 second. I will show you another screen. Wait a minute. Yeah, it is from here I have taken the term digital natives. This is an essay article by Mark Prensky, where Prensky says, I think you can see my screen. This is what Prensky says. Our students have changed radically. Today, students are no longer the people our educational system was designed to teach. It's a very significant point that has been mentioned by Prensky in 2001 in one of his articles that has been published. And in the same page, when I scroll down, I come across the terminology digital natives. Most of you would be familiar with the term digital natives. It is Mark Prensky who mentions this term digital natives, who introduces this term digital natives. Why should he call these students as digital natives? Because most of them, today you see many children who are very well accustomed with the digital gadgets, right? So you see small kids playing with mobile phones very dexterously, better than us, right? So whereas we may be fumbling over our digital gadgets, you just ask your children will easily handle it and troubleshoot the problem and make you feel comfortable with your digital gadgets. So this is the era in which we are living. But at the same time, what kind of teachers we are? Yes, let us now let me stop sharing the screen. I just wanted to refer to that particular essay of Prensky. Now I go back to my screen and I will share my PPT once again. Let me get Okay, now I think my PPT is visible to you all. So let me go to the first slide. That is, Mark Prensky is the person who calls these people as digital natives. So that's how we started addressing today's generation as digital natives, because they are well equipped and they know better technology than us. In that case, we shouldn't be outdated and we should know how to make use of the current technology available. When we make use of literature, technology in literature classes, what are the things we should have in mind? Any class for that matter. You may be a teacher of any subject for that matter, but I'm specifically focusing only on literature classes today, being an English teacher, right? So now, technological requisites to digitize the class. When you speak about technological requisites to digitize the class, I understand that there are two divisions that we usually address. That is, one is synchronous learning and asynchronous learning. In synchronous learning, you will have, for sure, you will have the teacher and the student at the same place, same time, and talking, chatting, and lecturing, and asking questions, clarifying doubts. That kind of an ambience will be there. Whereas asynchronous learning today, whatever we are doing on Google Classroom, for that matter, you post information on your Google Classroom and you will ask your students to do that assignment, and you've asked the students to take up the Google quizzes. And suppose you're using MS Teams, you will be giving quizzes in the form of MS Forms, which you see on the screen. Let me take a laser tool so that you will understand. I can show you that. So now this is, either you will be creating quizzes on Google Forms, or you will be creating polls and surveys using Google Forms, I mean to say MS Forms, or using Google Forms, right? So if you are accustomed to Windows, you will be using MS Forms. If you're accustomed to Android support, you will be making use of Google. Well, so apart from this, this is actually a platform. So like an operating system for a computer. We speak about Windows as an operating system. We speak about iOS as an operating system. We speak about Linux as an operating system. So these operating systems help us run a program in a computer. Similarly, in a technologically equipped class, what are the things we actually need? We need a platform to run our classes. That platform becomes Google Meet or Zoom or MS Teams or Cisco WebEx, Webinar Jam, ClickMeet. So many things are available. So whichever you are comfortable with, you can make use of that. So at this juncture, we would like to make, I would like to make a mention of open educational resources. There are open educational resources which you can use free of cost. So that you must be familiar with by this time, because during pandemic, most of us are accustomed to this open educational resources. Then after using this as a platform, then we need online tools. What are the online tools we may need? We may need a board, right? For example, if you're using Google Meet and things like that, you will be using Google Jamboard. If you're using MS Teams, already an inbuilt whiteboard will be there. You understand me? So certain technologies, platforms will accommodate the board also within itself as a compact support. Certain things will have it separately, where you have to go and learn that tool and you have to merge it along with that supporting system through which you are teaching. Then, in addition to that, you talk about animations, right? You want to do your lecture in the form of an animation, right? You would have come across whiteboard animations. You would have come across 3D animations, right? Several animations you can do today by yourself through certain free resources available, and you can deliver lecture. For example, VideoScribe is one such medium to, where you can create your own lectures, animate, whiteboard animations can be done easily. I have used VideoScribe, that's quite easy and comfortable for me. So whichever is comfortable for you, you choose and you use that particular software tool to teach your, to deliver your lecture. Then to prepare your lecture or deliver your lecture, here I make a mention of another point. Either you have to do a material production for your class, or you have to use an already available material for your literature class. Now, when I say you make use of an already available material for your literature classes, let us speak like this. We cannot simply take anyone's material and teach in our classes. That is like plagiarizing someone's ideas and knowledge. That is not fair. So in that case, we need a licensed, authenticate material which we can use in our classes, which will not be a problem to anybody, right? So the students also are permitted to use that, and the teacher is also permitted to. So because it is licensed, you have an authentication for making use of it in your classes. This is what we call as Creative Commons license. So when you have a material in your class, distributing it to your class with a Creative Commons license, you are really spared. You will not be into trouble. Whether it is a video lesson given by an Oxford professor or a Cambridge professor, or it is a kind of, a documented material, a research article, which you're showing it to your class and which you're using it as your classroom material, you need a license for that, Creative Commons license. You have several categories of Creative Commons license. You can I cannot, I can give you guidelines on all these things. You can go to Creative Commons website and find out how many varieties of licenses are available and what do they actually mean. Everywhere you will find a kind of inscription showing certain pictures underneath every material, educational material, which will tell you what kind of license that educational material bears. You understand me? So in that case, people will understand, okay, I can make use of this material completely free. Some materials will show certain inscriptions stating that this I have to quote and refer the name of that particular writer and spell it. So this kind of information will be shown in the form of the license inscription borne by that particular teaching material when it is a ready-made material. So where will I get this? It's very easy. If you are using Edge as a search engine, you get me? Most of the time we use Google as a search engine. If you use Edge as a search engine, it gives materials, and even if you are searching for pictures, it will show you Creative Commons licensed pictures. So you will be, you can easily cull out informations with Creative Commons license very easily. Otherwise, I give you a safer medium where you can go and download materials for your classes, literature classes. We are going to see that as a demonstration now. And before which, let me focus on the third point in the second category, that is testing tools. Apart from this, with the ready-made material or material that you have produced, you will do the classes, right? You will deliver your lectures. After which, you need to assess the performance of the students, for which you need a kind of a testing medium, right? Testing tool you need. So what are the testing tools you use? You use Google Forms. Many of you must be certainly familiar with Google Forms, so I'm not touching on the topic. And then MS Forms. If not Google Forms, you will be familiar with MS Forms. Or else you would have chosen additional. There are so many free testing softwares available. Some softwares are totally free, and many softwares, it will be free only for 7 days and 14 days, within which you can create the limited facilities. With the limited facilities available, you can certainly create wonderful quizzes, and you can store it with a link address. So that link address can be posted in your Google Classroom. So that's similar to that of a Google link address, Google Form link address. You can post these link addresses also to your classroom, so that your students will take up the quizzes, and all the quizzes will be rated automatically, and you can take the printout of their marks, because it validates. So you will set the score while you do that. So Easy Test Maker, Hot Potatoes are some of those testing tools available. Well, let me now move on to the next one, classroom requisites and e-gadgets, which are very much needed. When we speak about classroom requisites, certainly today either the student needs a mobile phone or a tablet or a personal computer, without which learning through online is really difficult. So most of the students are learning through mobile phones today. So mobile phones, a very economical mobile phone is an Android mobile phone. Maybe there are Windows mobile phone that can be used, and iOS can be used. It depends upon the person, the student capacity. And then desktop computers, best way, in fact. It will not consume much of your energy, but at the same time, you can sit comfortably in a place, and desktop computers really good enough for teaching especially, and also for even students can make use of a mobile phone to listen to your lectures. Whereas when you teach using mobile phones, it will be very, unless you are well equipped with your, to handle your mobile phones delivering lectures, you have to be very meticulous and you have to be very adept in making use of all simple commands, especially after 50s, maybe when there is a kind of a less vision. Okay, so when the vision declines. Okay, so in that case, instead of working on a mobile phone, it would be better to work on a desktop computer. Earphones, I'm talking about teachers now. Well, then earphones, when we need earphones, either earphones or headphones to make use of, and then to listen without disturbing people. Then external speakers, we can have external speakers and a webcam. So these are the basic requisites. Well, then if it is a mobile phone, the camera is inbuilt, the lens is there, so it's not a problem for the students, so they can talk to you live. Okay, so that's very easy, either through a direct chat, no, so live chat, they can come and they can clarify their doubts. So that's possible with a mobile phone. That's why we are addicted to mobile phones, especially. E-libraries. When we speak about digital resources, what are the digital resources? We speak about e-libraries and repositories like Internet Archive, free PDF, Bookboon, many big books, Biblio, so many. There are so many, and I have mentioned only a very few. Authorized education, many of you would have made use of this also. So I'm going to show you the OER and how we can make use of the OER. So that would be information, I think. So authorized educational portals like NPTEL, Swayam, EPG Pathshala, all these things, Khan Academy, Udemy, all these things you would have used. YouTube, Consortium for Educational Communication, CEC. It is abbreviated as CEC. You would have come across. See, OER Commons. Now this is the page which I have copied and pasted. Let me show you a demo now so that I stop sharing. I'll show you a demo to make use of this OER, right? Well, so now, well, see here, hope my screen is visible. Okay, now this is the page, my OER Common page, where I have created my profile. See how many folders I have under which I have saved the materials available. If you go to OER, you will get materials. This is the portal from where you can get your materials. So Discover is the place where you have resources. If you click on the resources, it will show you the subject areas. You can choose the subject area and syllabus, right? You can choose the subject area and syllabus. You can choose English language arts and humanities, under which you will have English literature. Okay, so you can go and explore which subject you are searching for. Suppose you are teaching. Let me show you my page now. Now, as I have already explored this and collected whatever materials I'm showing you, under my items, I have stored it. I will show you how you can store it under my items. Okay. So go to oercommons.org and create a profile for yourself. When you create a profile for yourself, everything is free only. Open educational resource. It's free. Okay. So, and it has a Creative Commons license. So nobody can question you why you have taken my material. That means I can upload my materials so that others can use. Here add OER is there. So it is here I get an option of, suppose I have published my articles and those articles can be uploaded here so that somebody else will be using. You will be getting a lot of citations. If you're interested, you can do that. Try that too. So now Afro-American literature, American literature, anthology, these are all folders I have created. I just click on Afro-American literature. So now you see these are the informations I have stored under Afro-American literature. Let me go to the first info. Maya Angelou, A Phenomenal Woman. That is the title I have stored. Now I want to view the resource, right? So I have already saved the resource. Now I'm viewing the resource. So it will ask you whether it can open another tab. I say yes, and by giving continue. So it opens another tab. I'm doing it as a demonstration. It is not copy pasted on my PPT now. Whatever you are seeing it is based on my Wi-Fi speed. It comes on the screen, right? So now Maya Angelou, a phenomenal woman, whatever information is there, I see it on my screen now. Now I can read it. Okay. So now I see two options there, the poet and the poetry. So under the poet, these are the information I see, and I see a video available, a lecture available. I click on that to see the video given by Maya Angelou, right? See that.
Maybe the hardest part is if you teach, you have to live your teaching. You can't say you do not as I do, but do as I say. No. You have to say, I'm doing my best to live what I teach.
So
I have a pain.
I stop it here as we have many things to discuss very quickly in a nutshell. So I move on. So this is how you can view the video. See, there is one more. You can listen to the video and you can watch. See here, there is another option and another video lesson you could give your class. See, by again.
Ladies and gentlemen,
especially when you are
Angelou.
And when we come to it, to the day of peacemaking,
she's reading her poem.
Our fingers.
Angelou is reading her poems, right? So you can, if you want to read it to your class right from the horse's mouth, let them listen to that. No, so right from the writer's mouth, they can listen. Your students will be privileged to listen. So these things you can give it. CC tells you the Creative Commons license here. Okay, now I close that and I move on to show you the other folders which I have stored like this. You also can do it. You can create your own folders. I show you. See, this is what I called as Creative Commons license. This is what you see now here on screen. I mean to say that my cursor is hovering over it. So this is one type of license. So similarly, there are several inscriptions like this. It tells you, if you want to clearly understand what type of license is this, you can go to Wikipedia or you can go to Creative Commons page itself to understand what kind of license is this. As this is an OER, without any fuss or hesitation, I can make use of it for my classes. I can show it to my classes. Well, now, let me go to my profile once again. Under my profile, my items. Okay, so under my profile, my items, now I see many items here. See, I have lecture notes here. I have stored some of the lecture notes from Oxford University professor, right? You're going to see that now. So like this, you can store the lectures and view resource. Click on view resource. As I have already saved, I need not save it. So I'm viewing it now. So this is the professor who is going to give. This is Catherine Brown, Professor Catherine Brown. And she is the person who has uploaded all these things in the OER with Creative Commons license. CC tells you that so that you can make use of it for you can show it to your classes. And now let me click on that. Now you can see the professor teaching as a video lecture.
Right, welcome to this last lecture in this short series, and thanks again for dealing with the day change. There are two classes coming up, Russian formalism and Czech structuralism next week. We are going back to Tuesdays unless improbably yet another thing occurs, which causes a day change, but it's meant to be on Tuesday at 12 unless you hear otherwise in seminar room B. And after that, reading microtexts. That will be in week 6. Largely prose microtexts. And back.
Well, so you can go and watch these lectures later. Now I'm just showing you when I click on the facilities available here in OER, right? So Catherine Brown, I'm clicking on the profile of the professor and I come to understand the designation of the professor, where the professor is placed at the time. So the professor is now in NCH London, right? New College for Humanities, that is NCH. NCH stands for New College for Humanities, and that is in London, okay? So a professor from NCH is teaching, and all these are the lectures uploaded by the professor in OER, and I have chosen these lectures and I have stored it, thinking that it could be useful and relevant to my classes, or either to my classes or to my research scholars. So once I click on this, I come to see how many lectures under the topic are covered by Catherine Brown, right? Professor Catherine Brown. Now see, here it is under literature and form, about D.H. Lawrence under literature and forms. I click on, 1 second, not this one. Here, see how many lectures available by the same professor. So about George Eliot, about D.H. Lawrence, about intellect and consciousness, everywhere. Some lectures here you need to know are not video lectures, some will be audio lectures. So they are, we call it a podcast, no? So in Oxford University podcast also such audio lectures will be covered, and from there again you can download, or from Creative Commons also, I mean to say from OERs also you can download. So a lecture on realism, a lecture on Walcott and Naipaul and history and myth. So many lectures by the same professor. Now let us go to another professor, right? See, so many professors and their lectures are available. So how to take those information? That's what we need to know, right? So here it is by Catherine Brown. Suppose I need to find out lecture by somebody else. I have it. I can take it from there again. 1 sec. You will see the lectures of the people there itself. Whatever open education, I'm clicking on that. Now I see these are the additional information, and see Emma Smith is another professor. Okay, so now I click on these. These are lectures available again by Marion Talbot. So I can click on that. I can go and see, read, go through the video. So these are relevant to all lectures relevant to literature. I have stored it as a separate folder. I will show you how you can store it under a separate folder. I will show you that also. Great writers, you find so many here, so many. These are the names of the professors, right? So see, all Shakespeare and Voice, Julian Thompson, Sir Walter Scott. So whatever I'm showing you today, all the materials available for your literature classes. Okay. Now, so underneath, so under this, click on each item and explore the number of video lectures and audio lectures available. You can take the script also, the script of the lecture also. It is there. You can download it either, or you can copy paste on a Word form. That way also you can give it as a material if it is very essential, right? So you can get to know about the professor. You can contact the professor because the ID of the professor is given. So once you click on that, for example, if you want to get in touch with the professor who's teaching this, okay, click on the profile of the professor. Click on that website ID of the professor. That's given, no? College faculty ID is given, no? So you will understand. See the professor you're seeing on the screen now. So now you can get the information. You can get in touch with the professor by directly contacting, getting the staff information, email address, email ID is also available in OER itself. So you can get in touch with the professor. You can type comments for after watching the lecture. You can type comments. You can tell your students to type comments, and they also can post it. The only thing is you have to create a profile here in OERs. you have to create a profile as I have created a profile. See, I have created a profile here. Similarly, you have to create a profile. If I want to share it, share this particular information to my class, see, share button is there. I can click on that. I can share it directly to my Google Classroom. This is Google Classroom. I can share it to my Google Classroom, or I can share it through WhatsApp or Twitter or Pinterest. Okay, so 3 means I can share the information. So that's up to you. Well, now let me show you one more thing, quiz. So in the same OER, there are quizzes also available. Well, let me, my Wi-Fi connectivity is, yeah, got it. Quiz is also available. So I have stored a quiz here. This is a quiz. You're seeing the quiz. So you can view the source of the quiz. See, you can view the source of the quiz. You can work on the quiz by clicking on this. Just by clicking on this, you can work on the quiz. Okay, so the quiz comes here. It is now on the screen. You can tell your students to work on that. Or else, if you want to give it as a script in your classroom, post it in your Google Classroom. Here, download option is there. I show it here. Click on that. It will ask you whether you want it as a PDF format or EPUB format, all these facilities there. Click on PDF. Then it will be downloaded. Now it is getting downloaded. See, the quiz is downloaded now on my screen. You are seeing the quiz on my screen now. The quiz posted by, okay, so the quiz is now OER Commons, right? So now the quiz is there. I can share the quiz now to my Google Classroom easily, or take a printout and share it. It's very easy now. So that way I can do it. Well, now let me show you another thing. Okay, student view, how the student will view it. See, this you have to copy and you have to paste it to the Google Classroom. As you paste the Google form link, you have to paste that link. Or else after viewing source, you can share it. Here directly you can share it. Now I showed you how you can download all the information as a PDF format. That I have shown you. So download option. Certain materials you will not have download option. For certain materials you will have download option. There you can go and download. This is a download option. If this button is not seen, that means it cannot be downloaded. It can be used by sharing to your classroom. Okay, that can be done. Well, now I move on to additional info. This is how you can make use of your OER Commons. One thing I need to tell you in OER Commons, how to save the information. No? So if you want to save an information, what you have to do is you have to go to Discover and you have to go to Collections. And what are the collections available? So these are the curated collections under which. So now I go to Shakespeare Library. Click on that. So there are so much of information. Suppose I want this info on Antony and Cleopatra. I click on Antony and there is a checkbox. I click on Antony and Cleopatra. I have to save it. Immediately it will tell me create a new folder. So if there is Shakespeare already, why should I create a new folder? I have already saved it. So Antony and Cleopatra is now gone to my Shakespeare screen. Suppose I did not create a folder on the title Shakespeare, I can type it, create new folder, and I have to title. I can title it like anything, and I can create and save. So that is not needed. I already have a title Shakespeare, so I have saved under it. It will go to Shakespeare now. So far, this is how you can save. It will be in your items now. My items. Click on my items. Now it will be in your Shakespeare folder. Okay, Shakespeare folder is here. So I have created so many folders under which, see, women's studies. I have 32 materials, Shakespeare 20 materials, quiz 1, lecture note says 1, but under that one lecture note we have seen umpteen lectures, video lectures. So similarly, you need not go by this count, but it will give you a lot of links under which you can download as much of materials possible, which is very relevant, which could be covered in your syllabus of your university, and that will be really useful. So you can make use of this open educational resource. Okay, these are ready-made resources that you can make use. Now I close this, stop sharing this. Okay, we have so much of information. I don't know whether I can finish off with all that I planned to discuss with you. Let me see now. This we finished with, right? So now let me move on to e-quizzes. Apart from this, if you want to do e-quizzes, you can go to Britannica.com quiz browse literature, right? So if you can type it and you can check it. All the information that you see here now, you can type and check it. 1 second. Okay, now you see this now, so you can make a note of it, you can take a screenshot and you can try it. Easy test maker is the best way to, for me it is comfortable. There are so many test makers available apart from Google Quiz. Google Form can also be used, especially so for collecting papers, especially when you conduct semester exams and you collect papers. You can upload, you can give a provision to your students to upload it as a PDF format. So once it is created in the Google form to upload a PDF format, it is easy. In a single Excel sheet, all the PDF formats of the students will get stored. And once you download the Excel format, the PDF formats also will get downloaded easily. At a single point, you can download all the answer sheets of the students at a single stretch, just with a single Google form link. That is very easy. So many of us, what do? We give the email IDs, ask the students to send the papers to the email IDs, or else post it back, or else ask them to be used. Suppose you're working in a self-financing institute which has funded an OER already, and you are working on an LMS learning management system. So the LMS gives the provision, and that is very easy for you. Especially LMS, like you have so many LMS you speak, MS Office, MS Teams, similarly, you speak of several LMS you speak. So that gives a provision if you're using an LMS. If you're not using an LMS and you are relying only on Google for teaching classes, so in that case, instead of giving your email ID to every student or by posting it to your WhatsApp group, asking the students to send the soft copies, you can create a Google form, and there you can create a provision of uploading a PDF, and by uploading, and by that you can collect all the PDF answers at a single point in your drive itself. That's very easy. Now, this is what I said, Britannica. See, this is Britannica.com. I have copy pasted the screen. You can go to this website and you can check it. Click on Shakespeare or animals in Shakespeare quiz. So you have so many quizzes available. Ask your students to take up quizzes from there. And you have quizzes given by University of Cambridge. So you can take quizzes from University of Cambridge for your literature classes. That will be really interesting, useful for your students. These are additional. These are I spoke about test maker. So this helps to create test quizzes, especially apart from your Google. Then free ebook repositories. Many of you must be familiar with these ebook repositories. One thing I would like to add, free ebook repositories, right? So when you go to freeebooks.net, you go to, suppose you have chosen Dr. Faustus. You want to download Dr. Faustus. Click on that. Go to free books, and I clicked on Dr. Faustus. I got this page. Now I have, see here, it shows as Dr. P. Malathi. So I've created a profile there. So once you create a profile, it's free only, like as you create a login ID. So create a login ID there in all these book forums, ebook forums. Create a login ID. Wherever there is a provision of creating a login ID in a book forum or a book repository, create a login ID. That gives you ample chances and choices of choosing the books and downloading the books. So that's very simple. You can download the book. See, the size of the book is given here. You can download the book, and you can it will ask you whether you want it as an EPUB format or a Kindle format. Many today study through Kindle device today. So whether you want it Kindle format, you must be familiar. Mobi format, we call it as Mobi format, MOBI, all capital letters. So Mobi format is a Kindle format. Okay, so similarly EPUB, if you download a file in an EPUB format, many times from a book repository, when you download it as an EPUB format, let me show it so that you will understand it better, I think. You will not be able to see that. The entire book will get downloaded into your system or your mobile phone, but you will not be able to view it. So how to view it? You have a separate converter for that. You have to convert EPUB into PDF. You have to convert Mobi into PDF. So you have to go for free converter of EPUB and Mobi into PDF format to view that book. You get me? So don't think that the book is not in an open, in a version that couldn't be opened. The book is downloaded means you can open it for sure. Whichever format is that, if you are able to download a material, for sure you can convert it in a comfortable format which could run in your system. Only thing is you need to know a little bit about how to convert it, that's all. And what kind of a format you have downloaded and what kind of format you can run in your system or in your mobile phone, that you need to know. If you know that, you can easily search in your Google search engine itself. You can ask free converter EPUB to PDF, free converter EPUB to Mobi to PDF. Similarly, you can go for free converters and you can convert the entire document and you can get the text in hand. Okay, so that way it is possible. Now, let me show you, I will show you a demo also. See, King Lear can be downloaded. This is from Libgen. So I just typed Edmund Spencer, so many pages available. Internet Archive, the best resource from where you can take so many materials. All these things are for ready-made materials. Literariness.org. Here I would like to make a mention. This right hand side, you see one thing, right? Let me show you with my laser tool. Literariness.org is a Telegram channel. You can go, if you have Telegram, you are working on Telegram and you are into many channels in Telegram, you can go type join this channel. As many materials as possible for literature is every day uploaded. So whichever is relevant to you, whichever would be useful for your class, in your mobile phone itself, you can share it to your desktop. You can store it there. You can store it in your drive, any way possible. So literariness.org gives ample material in the website. Apart from that, it has a Telegram channel where you get it on your mobile phone. To tell that only I pasted that, because many of you must be, all literature students and teachers must be familiar with literariness.org. This is Bookboon, where you need to create a profile. Unless you create a profile, I didn't paste my photo here. So Bookboon does not give lot of literature books, but it gives lot of ELT books. You get me? So it gives grammar books, English grammar books you can download from Bookboon. Okay, so Bookboon, you can start reading directly. You can download as PDF. You get me? And once after reading it, if you want to remove it from your library, you can remove it from your library. I think it allows you to store only 100 MB and things like that. Some limitation is there to store in your. There is also a My Drive option in Bookboon when you create a profile, and you can store it not more than, suppose you have stored more than the limitation, it will tell you to delete certain books, and you have to delete and you have to store it. Then this is pdfbooksworld.com. From where you can, amazing repository from where you can, free PDF drive is also there. I will show you the PDF search engines separately. There are a lot of search engines for PDF itself, for downloading PDF format files, whether it is a book or a research article. We will be seeing that in course of this lecture. So you can download as much as possible. Say now bookswooks.com. This is very useful. In fact, this PDF as well as this Bookswooks, certain books you can read only online. Here you can download PDF books, you can download, you can store, but PDF and not every book there. But in Bookswooks, you have to either subscribe and become a member to download the ebook, or what you can do is you can read online free of cost. It is free of cost. You can read online. So you can, this is just, I have clicked on the genre. So this genre gives you these much of subtitles, under which you can choose whichever is applicable and relevant and of a matter of interest to you. And then you can check how many books available there for reading online. You can read online, I'll show you. So when you download a book from a repository, I've given only 6 formats here, not to confuse with a lot of formats. These formats you will be familiar, right? So that's why I have pasted PDF, HTML, RTF, docs, and PPT, right? So there are so many versions, right? So these versions, apart from this, now you are seeing it as EPUB version and Mobi version. So these versions also are convertible versions. You can convert it. And PDF search engines. These are PDF search engines with which you can, very comfortable PDF search engines, which I use for searching materials and articles. So see, whatever I'm showing you here, I will also show it as a demonstration. Now see, you see pdfdrive.com. Okay, I've gone to pdfdrive.com. Click on preview to read online. So there is, you have to click on a book, then click on preview option, and read online if you want to read online. Then when you click preview option will be seen like this. You're seeing it on screen now. So click on 3 dots. There is another option called download. You can download the book, or click on these 3 dots. If you click on these 3 dots, it will ask you whether you need a conversion of the EPUB document into PDF. It will ask you. So here itself, you have an inbuilt converter to convert EPUB and Mobi into PDF. So you can download as a PDF option. So here you can go for a converter. If it is not a PDF option, you can go and click. Don't think that after downloading the book is not visible. The book is not open as a version which couldn't be opened. Don't think so. There are umpteen facilities. Once you download any material, that material can be opened with another software, as simple as that. Well, next. See, it is opened now. It is an EPUB version. I am showing you an EPUB version, which is opened as a PDF version now. There itself, just a matter of a click. 3 dots. I clicked the 3 dots. I go to previous one, click on the 3 dot, go to PDF converter, convert it, download PDF option is given here. Click on download PDF. That's all. Now Modern American Poetry book is now on my desktop. As simple as that. See, these are the books I have stored in PDF drive. So you have my drive option. I have created a profile here too in pdfdrive.com. What you have to do is, first thing what you have to do is, it is like not learning the recipe of cooking, but to lit the stove prior to start cooking. You get me? So that is what is creating this login ID. Okay. So without the login ID, you will not be entitled to use many of the privileges. You need a login ID even if you're using it as a free resource. Okay, now so many books I have stored, and that is what you are seeing. These are stored in my drive. Modern American Poetry, Literary Theory, Literary Criticism, and Introduction to Theory and Practice, Literary Criticism and Theory. So many books I have stored, and that's what you are seeing. There is another search engine called PDF search engine itself. You see it now in the URL, this PDF search engine, right? So type as PDF search engine.net, and here what you see is you can download PDF files, CHM file, Word file, RTF files, text files. If you are typing a single phrase, say for example, Samuel Beckett, say for example, Jacques Lacan, okay? So I want to take the materials about Jacques Lacan or written by Jacques Lacan, okay? So now I can click on PDF and I can search one way. I can go to CHM option, search another way. Go to Word file. So whatever Word files available, which is relevant to that, will get featured. Whatever relevant to RTF will get featured. So that way also I can make my search very specific. Sometimes PDF will not be available. It will be available in RTF format. Whatever you find it in HTML format, you can try it in RTF also. So RTF format you can download if you don't find it. Another one is findpdfdocument.com. So here on findpdfdocument.com, see, these are all only for PDFs. These search engines are only for PDFs, downloading PDF documents. This will be really useful for research scholars who are working on research articles. If you are trying to collect as much of information as a secondary source on your writer, the writer you have chosen for your research, Try all these PDF search engines, which would be definitely useful for you. And if you're writing for teachers, it would be useful for taking your secondary source for writing your articles. Okay. So Yasmin ma'am, if I'm exceeding the time, you just tell me so that I will I will conclude as quick as possible. So that's why I didn't go for demonstrations. I thought of giving demonstrations or not giving demonstrations because it will
shall we wind up within 10 minutes, ma'am?
Sure, I will finish it off. Free PDF, it's another version, and Doc Jack, another version from where you can see so much of documents available. You can download from there. Doc Jacks, you can download. Then mobile applications, I work on these two mobile applications, Media 365 and audiobooks. So this is audiobooks. This is how it looks like. This is Media 365 from where you can download books in your mobile phone. Now, audiovisual lectures. When I speak about audiovisual lectures, go to Torch, that is by Oxford Research Center in Humanities. So Torch, go to this channel, Torch, you type whatever is given here in the YouTube channel search engine. Then you search for your lectures relevant to literature. That will be really useful. So Dr. Scott Mason is the professor who gives wonderful lectures on literary theories and criticism. So that's why I have pasted here. Then National Theatre. So literature, if you want to see on screen, you can go to this channel. These are all YouTube channels. You can go to Yale Courses. Really, it's doing a very wonderful work, and you can make your students watch many of the lectures given by professors from Yale University, right? So Yale lectures, Cosmo Learning, Grisham. So all these are by professors abroad. The title clearly states the literature lectures or literature by professors abroad. Now you are seeing that Grisham College channel, Houston College channel, Chicago, University of Chicago channel, Wordsworth and Coleridge, James channel. So I'm just showing you certain channels. This is by Indian professors, right? Audio-visual lectures by Indian professors. Vidyamitra is doing a wonderful work in the form of EPG Pathshala. You can find out the lectures given by IIT professors, NIT professors, and professors from central universities and reputed other universities. You can find lectures given by them and arts universities, renowned professors from arts universities, experts and erudite scholars giving lectures on literature topics. You can download from Vidyamitra. In the form of Swayam, today it goes to all students. In the form of a mobile app, Swayam can be downloaded by every student today. So that gives a connection to Vidyamitra. Then Consortium for Educational Communication, you must be familiar with CEC, NPTEL, IIT Kanpur, July. This you type as I have given here in the YouTube search engine. It will give you post-colonial literature as a channel which gives a thorough study of many lectures on post-colonial theories and literature created so far. So that's wonderful. And post-colonialism. This post-colonial literature is by Professor Sayan Chattopadhyay. He's from IIT, right? So wonderful lectures. I myself have learned a lot from those lectures. So if you are interested to learn from the right person, you have umpteen forum ready-made to learn. This is Professor Sayan Chattopadhyay, right? You are seeing that. Post-colonial literature, and post-colonialism by Dr. Masood Raja. So here again you get, and podcasts, there are many podcasts. iPod broadcast has become podcast, you get me? So you get audio files. So audio files from Oxford University, and you can type these, you can take a screenshot and you can type it in your search engine, and you can go to that particular podcast to download literature lectures, okay? And then you can make use of it to listen and make use of it for your students. You can share it in the Google Class, in your GCR, or what you call as Google Classroom, or any of your LMS that you use. Then this, I showed it as a demonstration already, so I skip it off. So apart from this, literature lectures from Durham English, literature podcast, world literature, so many available. Then literature in the form of movies. So these are the channels from where you can download, you can watch movies. Okay, these are the channel from where you can download movies. What are the movies available and all those details I've given it in a separate slide. So everything I posted there, I have shown it here. Social networks and literature. Under social network and literature, you have these blog spots do a wonderful work. I'm not marketing the blog spots. None of these blog spots is mine. Okay, so you can go to these blog spots to take information, right? And the ebooks 30,000 is also good. That is not only Blogspot, ebooks 3,000 is also a search engine, PDF search engine. Okay, these are what I thought of sharing with you. So as a part of my presentation, I understood the quantification. If I quantify the e-resources, ready-made e-resources available on web, I could see free ebooks, this much percentage, 58%. And I can see educational portals contributing to 23%, channel resources and educational, I mean to say, social network materials. Compared to social network materials, you have a lot in the form of free books and free audio visual lectures. So this is the summation. So whatever we have seen in this lecture so far, I just rushed through the last 3 components of my lecture as I thought of showing everything as a demo, no time. So I could, you can go through all the links and find it out by yourself. Digitizing, we have seen what is OER for digitizing. We have seen how to download ebooks and materials, and we have seen audiovisual materials for literature and media in English literature, social networks and English literature, right? So all these things, and I would like to say thanks at the end. If you have any question, I'm ready to answer.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving your valuable insight on digitizing literature classes for digital natives. We will go again and take some time for questions now. Dear participant, for feedback, kindly wait till the vote of thanks. Just a reminder, please be sure to post your questions in the chat. Thank you, ma'am, for giving your valuable insight on digitizing literature classes for digital natives. We will go again and take some time for questions now. Dear participant, for feedback, kindly wait till the vote of thanks. Just a reminder, please be sure to post your questions in the chat. Ma'am, am I audible, ma'am? Thank you, ma'am, for giving your valuable insight on digitizing literature classes for digital natives. We will go again and take some time for questions now. Dear participant, for feedback, kindly wait till the vote of thanks. Just a reminder, please be sure to post your questions in the chat. Ma'am, am I audible, ma'am? Thank you, ma'am, for giving your valuable insight on digitizing literature classes for digital natives. We will go again and take some time for questions now. Dear participant, for feedback, kindly wait till the vote of thanks. Just a reminder, please be sure to post your questions in the chat. Ma'am, there is a question. Is PDF search engine secure? Google says the site is not secure. Kindly clarify.
It is like running an exe file. Most of the time, no, when you download some information or application in your Google Play Store, an app from your Google Play Store, it will ask the rights to break the firewalls. The same thing you have to do to make use of that particular application, and you download even for WhatsApp. Suppose you're using iOS, you will download, you have to breach it, and then only you can download it. Similarly, it happens with PDF drive and PDF search engines also. But at the same time, when you have a virus control regularly done, if you know how to manage, then it's not a problem.
Okay, ma'am. And next question. Please tell what are the best online sources through which research scholars can know how much research has already done on the chosen topic.
Good question. For this only, universities have created a repository stating that Shodh Ganga, Shodh Yamuna, Shodh Gangotri, all these things. Here, if you go to these places, universities will definitely show you the dissertations, already published dissertations or unpublished or submitted dissertations there. So from there you can find out the number of resources already submitted on a particular topic. Shodh Ganga, Shodh Yamuna, Shodh Gangotri, Vidyamitra, Vidwan. So ResearchGate, all these places are good repositories to take out already done researches.
Okay, ma'am. And next question. Reading and speaking are the two areas students are lacking. Is there any unpaid app to develop these skills?
Unpaid application, whatever we have spoken so far is OERs only. The OERs for teaching English language, that's what I understand from the question. There are many. You have BBC itself, British Council applications are there. So BBC, British Council, Voice of America, all these things will definitely help you to make your student learn writing and speaking, reading, all the 4 skills, okay, in English.
Okay, ma'am. So next question. How can we do our own animation while taking the online classes?
I didn't have time to narrate on that actually. Otherwise, I would have shown you. I have done it and uploaded it in my channel titled e-resources for teachers. Okay, that's the channel. The symbol will be E. There I have shown how to make use of Video Scribe to create animated lectures. I have narrated it and I have demonstrated it, and it is just a 5 to 10 minutes video lesson. You have 3 to 4 lessons on that in 4 parts. So totally 20 minutes in 4 parts. So that is available. If you're interested, you can go to e-resources, e-teaching resources. That's my channel. You can go and you can watch it.
Okay, ma'am. So next question, is this all websites are available to all subject?
Definitely. I focused only on literature as I teach English in my class. So most of the teachers today attending must be English teachers and English research scholars today, I assume. So I focused only on English. These OERs, you can search for different discipline. You find as many, you have engineering, you have science, you have technology, you have medicine. The same OER can be used for all those also.
Okay, ma'am. Best